Hello everybody and welcome to this month's Glow Heartfulness webinar on the role of young mothers in sustaining generational bonding. I'm Purnima, your host for today's webinar. I live and work in Chennai, India. I'm a writer by profession. I'm also a heartfulness trainer and have been meditating for almost 17 years now. Heartfulness meditation is available in over 100 countries with more than 8,000 certified trainers in different parts of the world. Heartfulness Institute teaches heartfulness meditation and other holistic tools to people all over the world through workshops organized in corporates, schools, universities, and local communities. Here at the Heartfulness Institute, we continuously find unique ways to bring heartfulness meditation to you all. So these webinars called Glow are specially designed by women for the benefit of women to learn and practice meditation from the comfort of their homes. As you all know, GLOW stands for Genuine, Loving, Outstanding Women, and every month we feature a keynote speaker who has benefited by the practice of heartfulness meditation in her personal and professional life. So today on the webinar, we have Ms. Catherine Johnson from Jamaica. She is the founder and principal of the Science of Learning School, which has incorporated in it the Heartfulness Values Education curriculum. Catherine has been a certified teacher and a guidance counselor for almost 30 years in the field of education and primary early childhood. Catherine is a mother of 3 grown children and a grandmother to 2 young boys, and she is an amazing, wonderful woman. In her leisure, she enjoys writing poetry, reading, traveling, meeting new people. She's been a certified trainer of heartfulness meditation for over 12 years now. So, in this webinar, Catherine Johnson would address the social dynamics of a family system which is generally generational in nature. Hello and welcome and thank you for joining us today, Ms. Catherine.
Hello, Purnima. I'm very happy to be a part of this family this morning. Thanks for all the kind words of introduction.
Thank you. So, tell us a little more about yourself now.
Thank you. Respected great grandparents, parents, grandmothers, mothers to be, friends, greetings. I personally believe that all grandparents, parents, mothers, and grandmothers are trying their best to do a beautiful job of raising the families and raising them well. Kudos to all of you. There, however, is always room for improvement, even in family life. I'm here not because I'm an expert at all. I'm by no means an expert in this area. We are all experts in our own right. But this topic appeals to me. Why? Because I can relate to it. And I think all members of the audience this morning can relate to it. So therefore, we are all partakers of this wonderful topic. And all I'd like to do is to speak from my heart where this is concerned. Thank you.
So let us get on with the first question of the webinar, which has already arrived. Why the role of young mothers and not young parents?
Well, I would first and foremost like to say that the family is all about all members involved. It's really not about one person. One hand, as the saying goes, cannot clap. So it takes all members working together in unison to make it what it has to be. The late psychiatrist Murray Bowen suggests that individuals cannot be understood in isolation from one another, but rather as a part of their family. as the family is an emotional unit. Mothers, of course, are the salt of the earth. They are Mother Earth. They are Earth themselves. And what do we get from Earth? We get energy. We get loving energy. The mother never complains, no matter what. She is the one who brings unity and structure to the home. The mother knows everything that is happening regardless of what is happening around her, whether it be work, school life, everything. She keeps the family in one accord at all times. She knows what is happening with the children non-verbally. They need not say anything. Her husband, her partner, they need not say anything. She understands. She's the connecting force. She's the discerner. She's everything. She's the pivot on which the family revolves. And yes, the partner is there doing his role, but the role of the mother is so important. It's the mother who creates a society, whatever the society becomes, whether we like it or not, the result of the role of the mother. So we have decided to use this topic because really and truly, mother is the center of it all in our family lives.
Thank you so much, Catherine, for that very heart-touching answer. In fact, this is also a question which has been posted by Sobia Aaron, and you have answered it already. And a mother is always special. A woman's heart is made of that magical ingredient which cannot be described in words. I totally agree with you, and thank you so much for this beautiful answer. So tell me this, Catherine, before we get on to a serious note about this webinar. How was your experience as a grandchild like? Did you get to spend a lot of time with your grandparents, and also share your mother's role in that bonding and nurturing you had with your grandparents?
Thank you, Purnima. This is quite an experience to share because, as we all know, there are many types of family structures. I was brought up in the nuclear family, having mother and father present with siblings. It was like 5 of us. But then in life, things happen, like sickness. My father became blind, and then other members, relatives had to come in to help. This is what family is also about. So at a very young age, I was separated from that nuclear family to another family which was headed by grandma. So in other words, I experienced to an extent both family structures. Now, to separate, it's always a challenge. And at that young age, it was also a challenge for me. But it was short-lived. When I got under the roof where grandma was, it became very easy to continue life as a child. It was easy because grandma had the qualities that I really, over time, got used to, and it was like taking another step where mom left off physically. She was warm, very tender and understanding, I can recall. She spent a lot of time with us because there were others in the family, siblings and cousins, extended family became, but grandma was the should I say, the head of the house. And during those times, she brought me up unknowingly, being responsible, a responsible child. It was not forced on me, but it was encouraged. We lived very close to nature. That was beautiful. I think when children are separated in the way I was, nature has a way of balancing us. So I had time to run the whole landscape of the property, you know, speak to the trees, pick fruits, you know. I was able to feed the animals. We would do our chores happily and joyfully, and we were gently reminded when it wasn't done. Grandma would communicate with us a lot in her own tongue. What she used was a lot of proverbs. So from very early, I grew to understand the use of proverbs, you know. So very young, I think many of my peers when I went to school couldn't understand some of them. But we do, or we did, I should say. What was really beautiful about living with grandma, I guess today we call it living room, but we used to meet in the drawing room in the evenings. There weren't a lot of books and so on as we have today, but there was storytelling, story sharing. There was an old piano, and members of the family would play this piano, and we would sit and we would listen to music. So from very early, as children, we developed this aesthetic awareness, this love for music, love for nature, love for people. We had to tolerate everybody. We had rules, and she was always a stickler for structure. Having sat with the family in that way, learned so much. Then there were set times for going to bed, set times for waking up, and of course, we just had to do the chores or duties before school, after school. Yes, she taught us very early to cook, to be homemakers. So wherever she was, we were. And from that, we learned a lot of lessons. And you know something? There was so much love in that family as I could recall. Started with the nuclear family I was in with mom and dad, with my siblings, 5 of us, and it continued. Nothing was missing, but with parents, of course. But what happened was that there was this visiting opportunity. Mom and dad would visit as often as they could. The other siblings would visit. And that made a lot of difference. So grandma saw to it that the generational bonding was kept. Yes, at all cost. So that I thought was very important because it created balance, although there was change. It's something that we are not so happy about, the change. But then, as a result of that, it has made me into a better person. And before I wrap up this part of it, Pranima and friends, I must say that the part I looked forward to at all times was when I would cuddle with her at nights in the bed. Although we had our own rooms, you know, I found a place beside her at nights, and she would share little stories, and we would share little jokes, you know, and so on and so forth. And that was satisfying and fulfilling as a child. I want to say, it's not money. It's not money. It's when we operate from the heart that matters. Grandma did not have money. My parents did not have much of that. But what they had was love. And that is what they shared with us. That money cannot buy.
Oh my God, Catherine. That was such a beautiful, beautiful experience, and thank you so much for sharing your beautiful childhood experience. I was almost transported back into your, into your grandma's house when you were sharing all that. I was almost transported into your bedroom when you were cuddling with your grandma. It really touched my heart, and I'm sure it must have touched all the participants' hearts too. It's such a beautiful thing to be a grandma. It's such a grand thing to be a mother of a mother. And probably that's why the world calls her grandmother. I mean, it really makes sense. And I'm so, so happy that you shared that with all of us. So this experience with your grandma must have done so much. It must have done wonders for your soul. Can you share what this experience really did to shape your life ahead? How did it shape your life path ahead, this experience with your grandma, with your grandparents?
Thank you again for such a beautiful and appropriate question because our families, we are a product of our families. And if we are not impacted positively, then we have to start looking at ourselves in making sure it is corrected. And for me, my family structures, living with grandma, really impacted me in a positive way. First, I have developed from very early, as I said before, a love for nature, a love for music. There are qualities in me that money cannot buy. Tolerance is one of them. Just moving from my parents to live with grandma, that was a measure of tolerance, yes? Having so many other persons, people, relatives around me, tolerance. Because, as was earlier said, the family is an emotional unit. And we had to live in that space, in harmony, in love. Therefore, love of people has really been a part of what was imparted to me. It has given me inner strength to face whatever comes at me. It helps me in a very quiet and calm way to deal with the challenges of life. Grandma's way of life, the way she grew us, has now helped me to be the mother and grandmother that I am today. I am more and more understanding. I work a lot from my heart. And some of the practices that she went about doing, it's ingrained in me. Therefore, I spend a lot of time educating the children I bear and others who come into my space, whether it be work life or at home. A mother is always a teacher. So to say you are a teacher is just to say probably you're a teacher in a classroom. But the mother is always a teacher. And grandma, I'm sure, contributed to my choice of profession. Because being a teacher is really caring and sharing, tolerating, having patience and all of this. Grandma offered all of that. Living with grandma has helped me to be resourceful. You know, Grandma would go to that kitchen, and whatever that was there, she would use it and make beautiful meals. The problems that we saw as mountains, in no time, she would change that picture to a positive one. So her bringing me up has helped me to be resourceful in every sense of the word. Yes? So you pass this on to your children as well. You know, you show them that it's not always the fast food. It's better to eat at home, because in living at home with both parents and grandma, there was a special time, a structured time for meals, to have our meals. We had to sit around the table. That was another place for conversations. We had a lot of conversations. It was a place where we were able to see the problems that were existing or the challenges, you know. We spoke about them there and then. So in many ways, it has shaped me to be the mother and grandmother I am today. This I do not